Tour eclectic. Still at the Patriots Point Naval Museum. We are going to check out the Vietnam experience. I'm going to walk up here and we're going to flip the camera around, hopefully. There we go. Vietnam experience. We're entering the Quonset hut. So the very first exhibit you kind of have to go through to enter the experience. Being naval oriented, of course, we have a sampan down here. Viet Cong sampan. A mannequin in tiger stripe fatigues, late tiger stripe fatigues. Those would really not be accurate for Vietnam. The yellow is too dark. I know, kind of weird. The little model room. I haven't met the guy that did these. And not bad. He did a pretty good job. I especially like the monitor that he did up there. Little ragtop monitor. And do not enter when light is on, but the light is not on. So, whoops, the light on. Hat. But the light is not on, so the light might be burned out. Military police. I like the way they did this to make it look like downtown Saigon or maybe Huen Ba. So we're going to keep on walking. This is exiting the Quonset hut, which is the entrance. There we go, sea wolves. Due to the Brown Water Navy's early successes in the Mekong Delta, River Delta, it was decided that the U.S. Navy needed to provide organic air support rather than relying on U.S. Army assets. As a result, HAL-3, the Sea Wolves, all-volunteer squadrons who began supporting naval special warfare operations and mobile riverine forces in Vietnam. In 1966, Helicopter Combat Squadron 1, HC-1, began flying support missions using Army surplus UH-1B gunships. Helicopter Attack Squadron Light 3, or HAL-3, was officially commissioned in South Vietnam 1 April 1967. Missions included search and destroy, reconnaissance, medevac, and SEAL team insertion and extraction. Decommissioned on 16 March 1972, the Sea Wolves flew over 120,000 combat missions during Vietnam. And here's our plaque in memory of the Sea Wolves killed in action. And it looks like there were quite a few. I did not realize that. And here is our, I wonder if this button works over here. It says press button. The button no longer works. It just needs to be repaired. No big deal, right? UH-1M Iroquois. And back here we have a Cobra. Get it into frame there. Huey Cobra. This is the wrong model. They would have been, actually the cockpit looks fairly close. That looks like a G model cockpit, but the armament on the front is wrong. Here in Charleston, where bamboo grows organically, the bamboo thickets are fairly natural. Palmetto trees, not so much. Bamboo thickets, very reminiscent of Vietnam. So it's saying that's a UH-1, excuse me, an AH-1J Sea Cobra. Over here, we have my favorite, the Patrol Boat River, the PBR. This was just very, very recently restored. Refurbished, I think it was. Very recently refurbished. Look how pretty that thing is. Need to get a radar dome on it. At least an M60 up there on the top. And here we can see what I was talking about, having the radar dome on the PBR. Sometimes when the boat was working in shallow waters up in the marsh, they would replace that radar dome with an M60. And I've seen pictures of that done also. And though I'll probably over-dramatized, I like this picture because it shows the way the PBR was used. Its speed and maneuverability were its primary weapons since it was so lightly armored. Oh, a great picture overall. And I'm gonna come up here. Pardon our progress, Vietnam experience, the mess hall. When I was talking, I have a feeling that's where a lot of the models that I'm completing now will end up, inside the mess hall. I will attach a picture of the refurbishment in progress, at least from our model club. We have an ambulance. I think this is a Delta model Huey, twin windows in the back. So one of the more prolific helicopters of the Huey line, simply because they were much larger. Oh, excuse me, this is a hotel model. Hotel model may be actually post-war. And here's one of my absolute favorites. Look at this big Sikorsky heavy lift. You can go inside, but it's fairly barren inside, but it does give you a really good idea of these H-34s, this being an H-34 Delta. Oops, need to come out here with the air compressor. Our tire is flat. Here we have a M113 armor personnel carrier, M113 armor personnel carrier. One of the most common vehicles in the Vietnam War. Now we're going into Khe Sanh. This is actually pretty cool.
Being hit by constant artillery and rocket fire. You are about to experience the longest and bloodiest engagement of the Vietnam War. Report immediately to the command bunker.
Battle for Khe Sanh. We have a M101A1 howitzer. I know that was very recently refurbished. The M42 Duster. Somebody was telling me that they used to have smoke effects coming up from this overturned M151 Mutt. Welcome to Khe Sanh. And look at the big shit hook here. That was our nickname for these. They're actually called Chinooks. We called them shit hooks. M35A2 military truck. Fairly realistic. Be nice if they redid it as a gun truck, but gun trucks were a lot less common than just regular supply.
The smell is sickening. That's all I could do to keep from wrecking right on the spot.
Tour Eclectic is finally getting its orders out of Quezon.
Report immediately to the command bunker. You're entering the Quezon combat base.
And back out to the Vietnam experience. I'm not sure if we're still allowed to climb the guard post ladder. Maybe closed. Does not appear to be. There's no rope blocking entrance to it, so we're going to climb it. Here we go. Nice. And this will give us a good 360. We're in the guard tower overlooking the Vietnam experience. I'm going to do a 360 so we can see pretty much the entire thing. Here we go, flip. We see the entrance into Quezon. The medical sick bay. I'm not sure what that was. See if I can put my glasses on so I can read it. Hooch, so living quarters. Over here we see where the mess hall was, but it got torn down. I think they just started demolishing it last week. We see the PBR over there in the lagoon. The Huey Medevac with the ambulance. The H-34, the Seahorse. And down there, the M113 Armor Personnel Carrier. Beautiful shot of the Ravenel Bridge. And an even better shot of me manning the Browning 50 cal. With an empty ammunition box. This is an interesting relic. They called these the mechanical mules. Reason being, there was actually a seat usually up there for a driver. But what they would do often is not, as this steering wheel would flip around and you could actually control it standing back here and just following behind it, almost like a pallet jack, a motorized pallet jack, and drive the stuff where you needed it. A mechanical mule. And what are the kids always most concerned about at a museum? That's right, the ship's store. Let's take a look. So that was it. That was the Vietnam experience. The next stop on the Tour Eclectic will be the Submarine Memorial, right across the street from Patriots Point. I think we're going to drive over there. Feel lazy today. See you at the Submarine Memorial. Part 2 of a one-part video. I know that sounds funny, but we're going to hit 2 memorials with the same video. We just did the Vietnam experience. Now we're going to do the Submarine Memorial. I'll flip you around here real quick. And there we go. Doesn't look like much, but for a former submariner, it means a lot. Let's look at these two plaques first. A tribute to the dedicated men and women, both military and civilian, who manned the submarine support infrastructure and allowed our submarines to sail with confidence, fully ready, and on time. And part two of the same thing. So this would be the tail, the upright stabilizer, vertical stabilizer, if you will. And we're walking up to the actual sail. This is a representative of or represents a ballistic missile submarine, sort of like the one I ended my submarine career on. So the back deck behind the sail would be packed with 16 ballistic nuclear missiles. The hatches would open up this direction, 8 per side. The actual superstructure is fake. It is just brickwork. The sail, on the other hand, is the actual sail from a SSBN. And I don't want to say which one it is until I remember which one it is. Probably a later model, simply because at least after, say, 655, because the sail planes, which are these horizontal planes here, are low and long. We had two types of SSBNs. We called them low sail plane and high sail plane. I always liked the look of the low sail plane. That was my favorite, which was a good thing because that was the boat I was on. Now I love the way that they've done this. They make it look like the submarine is actually pushing through the water by putting this mound here. Very, very, very cool. And we'll flip around and see what in this little alcove, if you will. We have the South Carolina flag. Don't tread on me, and the ensign up there. Cold War Submarine Memorial donors. So this is the Cold War Submarine Memorial, which would have been me back in the day. I started my Navy career in 1981 and ended up in 87. So pretty much the height of the Cold War. Of course, while I was on board, I never thought anything of it. You see what I was talking about, the brickwork for the actual superstructure is not rounded, it's square. Not the end of the world. It still certainly gets the idea of a Cold War ballistic missile submarine. See if we can find out where that sail came from. Again, that is actually the sail off of a submarine. No, that plaque's not going to tell us. Let's look at these benches here. Sponsored by the former shipmates George Bancroft, the Elgardo, the USS Pollock, the Pulaski. We had a name for that one when we every ship every boat, as we referred to them, had a nickname. The USS Lewis and Clark was called the Lost and Confused. This is interesting. It's a World War II submarine lost boat memorial, still on patrol, or on eternal patrol, as they would say. Submarines are never considered lost at sea or sunk. Submarines are all listed as being on eternal patrol. I've always liked that. Over here we have a memorial for those who sacrificed their lives while serving in submarines during the Cold War. USS Thresher lost with all hands April 10th, 1963, and the Scorpion lost with all hands June 2nd, 1968. There is a port of no return where ships may ride at anchor for little space, and then some starless night the cable slips, leaving an eddy at the mooring place. Gulls veer no longer, sailor rest your oars, no tangled wreckage will be washed ashore. And that is certainly the case of a submarine lost at sea. Very little wreckage, if any. John Adams, Sturgeon, I'm liking all these benches. George C. Marshall, and some with colored plaques on them. Nice. Still don't know what sail that is, though. Here's our bench with our submarine dolphins. The emblem of the submariner. So one last sweep around it. The Submarine Memorial at Patriots Point. Flip around. There I am again. Hi. For the Tour Eclectic, I hope you liked this two-part Vietnam War experience and submarine memorial. And until next time, for the Tour Eclectic, we'll take a tour again. Bye.